So I've been thinking to myself for the past couple of weeks, how are those people that create so much content are able to do it on a consistent basis? Now, I thought to myself the last couple of weeks, I haven't posted a video like this in a while, and I was thinking, why is that the case? Is it because I'm lazy? Is it because I'm uninspired? I don't think it's any of those. I just don't think I'm holding myself accountable. Now, there are some things that I think that a lot of people can learn, and me myself, because I'm going through this journey about trying to make myself more accountable to the things I do. And I thought to myself, how can I make myself more accountable? And it really just came simply to the fact that I need to tell myself that I've got no choice but to do this on a weekly basis. So this is what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to write down every single week the time that I'm going to record these videos, the time that I'm going to do my exercise, the time that I'm going to do my study, the time that I'm going to do, set times throughout the week that I'm going to hold myself accountable to. And I hold myself accountable to everything else, but not to these videos. So this is where that changes. From now on, every week I will try and post one video a week. Now, I know I haven't done many book reviews in the last couple of weeks, but that doesn't mean I haven't read any books. In the past couple of days, I finished a couple of books. The first being Small Giants by Bo Burlingham. So Small Giants by Bo Burlingham focuses on 14 companies that choose to be great over big. So what does that mean? It means that they focus to have great customer service and a great product over size in terms of sales and revenue. They choose to have great customer service and a great mission and purpose to their business. They make sure that their customers, suppliers, and most importantly, their employees are happy to work for them. Now, this doesn't mean that they didn't have the opportunity to grow big. For instance, one example in the book, Cliff Bar, the people who make those energy bars, they had the opportunity to be bought out for a large sum of money. But he chose that he felt like that the soul of the business would get sucked out if it was sold to another person. And I can sort of relate to that. If you've created something from scratch, you want to follow it through that so no one takes that image that you have from the business away from you, even if you were getting offered 60, 30, whatever, 30 million, whatever it was. I don't know the exact figure, but I can relate to that way of thinking. And there's another 13 examples in this book of companies that have created processes and created a value structure within their business that made them such great companies. A lot of people try and focus on making massive companies now, but the true nature of it is that companies have become monopolized. Tech companies, Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, these are all companies that are monopolizing the markets they're coming into. So these smaller companies need to focus on creating great products with great customer service in order to remain competitive. So I really enjoyed this book. I will do a review on my channel, 1 Minute Book Review, in the next coming days. In fact, a book that I finished yesterday on the train home was Financial Intelligence, A Manager's Guide to Knowing What the Numbers Really Mean by Karen Berman and Joe Knight. Now, as someone who works in finance, it might be a bit strange that I'm reading this book, but I saw it on Instagram and I thought to myself, I'm really interested to see what these two people talk about, Karen and Joe Knight. Because when you read a book about finance, it tends to get quite complicated. But this book doesn't really complicate it. It talks about the main things that people need to focus on. The purpose of sales, the purpose of revenue, the difference in turnover, talks about operating profit, gross profit, net profit, expenses, how to account for those, as well as the main profit and loss sheet, the balance sheet, and the cash flow, and the importance of cash in a business. And these are great tools for anyone wanting to know how finance works. As a training accountant, I feel like the book taught me things that maybe I already knew, just explain them in more of a simplistic way. But for someone who works in a company, either in the sales, marketing, or production areas, that want to know why the finance department or accountants make decisions, then this book is a great book for that. And it's also great for people who run their own business that want to know the things that they should be focusing on when running their company. So I encourage those who want to know more about finance to get this book and read it and let me know your thoughts. Tell me whether you think it's too complicated or not. So there are two books that I'm really looking forward to read this month. The first is Understanding Human Nature by Alfred Adler and Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. I'll start with Alfred Adler in Understanding Human Nature. So Alfred Adler, alongside his counterparts such as Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, created a form of psychoanalysis called Adlerian psychology that focuses a lot on human behavior. Now, after reading 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson, as well as Dale Carnegie's classic How to Win Friends and Influence People, Alfred Adler is mentioned in both books quite a few times. And I thought to myself, I want to read about Alfred Adler, because if someone's being referenced in books like that, you have to think to yourself, maybe they have some wisdom or knowledge that you need to go and seek. And although it's great to read books that talk about the commentary of a psychoanalyst such as Jung, Freud or Adler, you want to read the original books. And although that might be intimidating, it gives you more depth in reading, which is what you want. Even if it takes you longer, you want to know what's coming out of the horse's mouth, so to say. Now, from just flicking through this book, I can see that there are some really in-depth and heavy conversations in this book. Some thoughts that I know are going to completely change my outlook and probably blow my mind. So I'm looking forward to share those with you in the next couple of weeks and hoping to have a review with you soon. So the second book is Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point. Now, I've read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell that talks about why people might be or are more successful than other people. But Tipping Point is more about how products or phenomena become, so large in scale. What are the forces, be that market forces, nature, or a multitude of things, causes products or viruses or epidemics to reach a tipping point where they just explode out of control. Now, Malcolm Gladwell writes really informative and engaging books, so I'm looking forward to read this book and giving you my assessment in the next couple of weeks. There were also 2 audiobooks that I've been listening to and I've finished the last couple of weeks. The first being The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi, good pronunciation, and Start Now, Get Perfect Later by Robert Moore, who is an entrepreneur who I've just followed on Instagram, and he, in this book, talks about procrastination and just starting now and get perfect later, which kind of is inspiration behind this video as well, talking about becoming more accountable. And the courage to be disliked is talking about Adlerian psychology and how people can have a value system and follow that value system even if they are disliked in whatever they do. And it's all about courage. The courage to be disliked, the courage to take that first step, and the courage to be the person that you want to be. So hopefully I'll have another video for you soon talking about these books and other topics as well. Until the next video, thanks for watching.